Oh man, what's going on is the Wolf, and we are back with another episode of the Wolf Has Spoken podcast. America's fastest growing podcast, but as Q would lie before, the universe's fastest growing. So with that being said, I'm excited, but I'm even more excited today because I find myself joined by a special guest. And this special guest is a grant expert. She has helped people get not just thousands, I'm talking about hundreds of thousands, into the millions of dollars in grants. And she's been the go-to for a lot of prominent people, and she's come highly, highly recommended. So I want to give a round of applause. All hands on deck.
Yes,
As we
sir.
welcome our guest for the day, Coach K. Before we get into it, though, I just want to tell you, I just enrolled into a university when I was upstairs. Yeah, so I'm back in school.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was Coach K University, bro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm in Coach K University, y'all. So I'm going back to get my grant degree. I'm gonna learn a couple things.
Next level.
I'm going to the next level.
Good for you, sir.
But let's get into it. I normally ask Q, how was your week? But before we got a special guest, we're gonna be on our best behavior. Coach K,
Try
how was
to
your
be.
week? Give it a try.
I love it. My week was very exciting. I started some amazing things for my business, and we are rebranding. So I'm super excited about this week and just what's to come.
Oh, that's amazing. Q, how was yours? That was enough for Q. Back to me. So, no, go ahead, Q. How was your week, Q?
But my week was cool. I'm gonna go back to my old script. Life is life.
Life is
life is cool.
No, can we get? I need the informed Q.
The informed Q.
Yeah, what's going on?
Well,
Q?
I don't know if you don't know this, Coach K, but I was once a lost soul in the world. But recently, I've discovered the power of audiobooks.
Okay.
Yeah, so now I'm a scholar, if you will. I done listened to about 37 audiobooks in about 2 weeks.
True story.
And so I can tell you anything about any topic in the world now. I was already like 90% that guy. That last 2% was in these audiobooks I've been discovering.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I come around having good support, having good people.
1% better.
2%
2% better in that case.
Pushing your friends into doing things that's, they're not used to doing.
That's
so.
important.
Yeah, me being an author and all of these things, we did a cleanse just recently, just to give a brief backstory, and we had challenged each other to do things that we don't normally do. So,
And you may not know this, but he's a candy fiend. Like he's a grown man candy fiend.
That's a fact.
And I challenged him to like put it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Hands back
So
from the Sour Patches and all that shit.
But I hit the gym a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So a balance.
Yeah,
You have a balance.
yeah,
Okay.
So let's talk. We're talking about grants, right? But how did you get started into that? Because that's not something that's like people just know that is available to us, right? So what was your entry into grants?
Yeah. So I started because I have a child care center.
Yeah.
And we had maxed out all of our credit cards. We
Sound
had,
like us.
yeah, we had used all of my personal savings account, all of my personal capital, and we were drowning.
Yeah.
And I was at the point where I was ready to close the doors, and I just needed a resource to save.
Real quick,
my
how long
business.
into the business was DJ this time? Out of
Probably
curiosity?
about 3 years. Yeah, we were right at 3 years. And again, we had used every resource. Background is finance. I worked at a bank at that time, so I knew what to do.
Yeah.
I knew what was available for me, but I had never had the idea or even thought that I could qualify for grants.
Yeah.
So I just sat down, started applying, and my first grant was $500.
Okay.
But
Small
it was
wins matter.
but it was a confidence boost.
Yeah,
right? It was
sure.
like, oh,
Free
wow,
500.
yeah, I can do this.
Give me that.
These companies really want to give me funding. And so it just took off from there. And I just turned it into a strategy where I was using it in my business daily.
Yeah.
And was able to kind of scale it from there.
So let's talk about that because you use the term funding, and most of the time people always they think about conventional funding like a loan. But grants is also a form of funding, but it's like, is it funding that they got to pay back, or is it funding that they could just take it and go buy a new car with?
Good question. So grant funding is debt free.
Okay.
Right?
Let's talk.
As long as you use it for what you state you're going to use it for.
You can't go buy a Rolex.
You can't go shopping.
It's for the business, though.
It's
The
for
Rolex, I got to tell
business.
Tom at my job.
That's important. But you got to write that in your budget in
Right,
advance.
absolutely.
Okay. So it's as long as you use it for the business, right, and growing the business, is debt free.
Gotcha.
You don't have to repay it. There's no credit check, and it's an unlimited funding resource. So if you get $1 million in grant funding, you can go get another $1 million or $2 million.
Is
in
it a
grant funding.
time bar,
Usually, I tell entrepreneurs about 3 months to 18 months
Okay.
window. So if you have a 2025 goal that you're working on, if we're scaling the podcast in 2025, we need to be working on grant funding now for 2025.
That makes sense. Yeah, because like what a lot of people like not having access to the information or even like background knowledge of being able to understand. Most people think like grant process is this strenuous process of, I got this nonprofit and there's only 4 grants for the whole world and I can't get one. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to know that, people is an unlimited amount. You know what I mean? So do you recommend, going for like government grants versus like regular grants, or you think winning them is either or?
So I tell my community, we don't overlook any opportunities. If there's a $500 grant, we're applying for that $500 grant, but we're not limiting ourselves. We're going after the $1 million grants as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So every opportunity that you qualify for, you should take advantage of.
But I was asking for myself. Go ahead.
And I'll
get some of this free information.
and I'll relate to this from my experience, like in school. I remember back, I was going to college. I did like applying for scholarships, and I remember people feeling like, "Dang, you gotta do this or that to get it." And I remember the person who was speaking to our class, whatever, was like, "You gotta understand, most people won't do the work it will take to get it.
Yeah.
So even if you feeling like it's only a limited amount, everybody, it's like half of people gonna cut themselves out because they're not even going to do it. Like, just fill out this application. It's like,
I'll give you
I'll
an
get to it. Like
of that. So Mackenzie Scott, Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, don't know if you know, but she decided that her entire divorce settlement, she was giving it back to the community. So she gives it back to nonprofits, right? So she just recently
take my money and give it away.
Yeah.
all of it.
I'm going to take your money. I don't want it. I'm going to give it back to the community.
Diabolical.
So
that's like a martyr. She going out like a martyr. She fighting for her. Like, I might support that.
But she recently gave $640 million back to nonprofits, right? Only 6,000 people applied for the $640 million. Now, she divided it up between 361 nonprofits, but only 6,000 people applied.
But between 361 now, were these her nonprofits?
No, they were not. They were
you
not.
Make sure they got offshore. So we're
it's a cover up.
Yeah, it's a kid. I didn't make.
She opened up 300 exactly nonprofits in the last year.
Just so happily, you just got to make sure. But no, I think that even like having access to knowing those type of things is important, because you said you got a background in finance. And I think that that's probably like a realm that we should navigate through, because like I'm very transparent, and like one of the things, like my business has always did good, even as a hustlerpreneur, where it's like when I'm just doing services and middleman, I still knew how to make a lot of money. But one thing I always knew that I needed to improve was my money management. You know what I mean? So it's like you got to be honest with yourself as a person before you could even start to see the change. So it's like I'm like, yo, you know what? I don't have a money-making problem. I have a money-spending problem. So with a background in finance, like, give me some tips, like, on things that you feel like could help.
I was just about to ask, what's some of like your greatest financial tips or
advice? It starts with the youth, right? And I think we all talked about it. We're all parents.
Yeah, facts.
Working at the bank, I would see often other races would bring their kids in, and they would sit them down, and they would have to watch them handle their finances. Versus our race, stay in the car, right? Stay out of grown folks' business, right? And I'm gonna bring you a dum-dum. I'm gonna bring you a sucker out, but you gotta stay in the car. So it starts.
Shout out to them TD Banks taffies, like
add a little context.
Yeah. I was like,
I used to eat the dum-dums all day at work, right?
No, for sure. I definitely coming in there to get an account just for that. I was mad when I went in. I think Navy Federal was only pens. Like, what am I gonna do with this?
What I'm gonna do with this? Right?
Like, put some candy out.
But that's where it starts, right? So educating our youth about finance, about the importance of just knowing how to budget your bank, knowing the options and opportunities that are there. People don't know you can walk into a bank and have them review your entire portfolio. They can tell you strategies to save. They can tell you how to increase or help you with your personal credit score. We think we have to go to social media and get this information on social media, and it's right there in the palm of your hand, right? You're paying for a service, whether you're paying monthly fees or overdraft fees, whatever that looks like. So the first thing is take advantage of the opportunity that's right there available for you, but make sure that you're educating your youth, educate your kids, bring them into the bank with you, show them you budgeting, right? Show them the mistakes that you made. Ooh, mama made an overdraft and it cost me $35. Be transparent about that so that they know when they're older what to do. So I think it starts there.
Because we definitely learn from what we exposed to. And unfortunately, a lot of us don't get exposed to that, because to her point about the whole sit in the car, or, mama or daddy just not having money. So it's just like, just live, like, we was coming up on going to the check cashing place more so than it was like, I'm going to go open up this. I just learned about like I think it's a high interest savings account. High yield savings account. I just learned about that. Like, and it was crazy because I'm like, you mean to tell me You didn't teach me that.
I made his life better. He won't give me the credit, bro.
No, I'll give you credit for understanding finances to a certain degree. I will give you credit. But other than that, yeah, it's a bad individual.
Fair, no value.
Definitely teach my community about high yield savings. I think that's a super important strategy.
It's a gem.
It's a gem.
Easy hack. Yeah.
So with grant funding, we get all of this money that comes in sometimes, and sometimes it sits there. Right. So why not put it in an account that's going to make us or help us make more money?
So it's like 4 bands a month on every M that's sitting in the account.
That's it.
So it's like you can get paid $48,000 a year just by sitting $1 million in an account, and it's like I mean, like I don't know, like that's just like you can fund your entire lifestyle off the interest that's accumulated from that, and I didn't learn that until this year. So like I went into the bank with I won't even disclose who because I don't want to put people's finances, but that scene I'm like okay, like they was like yeah, you can just put this money in this type of account. I'm like I never knew that. So now guess what I'm doing from now on. Give me a high yield savings account. Give me one, and I like whatever come with it. I'm taking it because at the end of the day, I want my money to be making money. That's like a residual income.
Exactly.
But it's something we have to educate ourselves on. When we walk in the bank, they don't tell us that. They don't tell. They put you in a standard savings account that's going to pay you 0.05%.
And they can't wait to overdraft fee you.
That's how they make their money.
Yeah.
So it's important to make sure you know what you want.
And it's so funny because I feel like our community, we have gotten so great at the finesse. Like we can get any overdraft fee return. We know when to dispute stuff to get the money back. But it's like we took them same strategies to build to get and accumulate. Like to get ahead, get out of the red. You know what I'm saying? It's like we can actually make some traction in towards building and growing. So like I don't know. I always tell people I got something that I came up with, and I just call it DAD, like D.A.D, dumbass debt. Like you need to figure out how much dumbass debt you got. Like how much because in order for you to be able to get out of debt, because some debt is like it's just like all right, I got a mortgage. This ain't dumbass debt, but it's certain things that you owe. You like this like why do I owe Best Buy? Why do I owe this? So let me get rid of this dumbass debt so that I can start to build, and actually when I'm seeing my money come in, because people think when you think about making millions, like everybody don't scale, but it's like if you just take small increment steps towards building, and then next thing you know, you could build yourself up to get a high yield interest account. And now the money you could say, all right, I'm making $4,000 a month off this. I'm about to take that and invest it here, and this one I'm gonna do that. And now you got so much money working for you, you could get your millions that way as well, right? You feel like
absolutely.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah, and also even the bigger thing as well is like the idea of assessing where the problems lie in the first place. So no matter how much money you're getting, making sure you're able to keep it.
No, that's a fact.
Yeah, so like say if you're able to track like where is the dumbass debt? Let me track all this down in the first place. Facts. I always tell people I recommend a good documentary. Shout out to the docs on and it's a book though. But how to get rich. And of course the premise or the title is basically how can I get rich? Let me know what I gotta do. But it's really about how to not be poor. And they find a lot of people on the show that make decent money. Cause it's not about you making 40 grand, you gonna struggle. We understand how that goes. It's America. But no, if you making 70, 80, 100, even more, if you won a bunch of money from an inheritance or whatever you may do, life insurance, how can you keep that money? Yeah. And all these different people, different scenarios, they all show they had common things in mind where they had a lot of dumbass debt. They were going out and just spending, had a lot of subscriptions and old credit cards they didn't even realize. And you got to be able to track all that stuff down so you can stop the bleeding and then build from there. Get out of the red for sure.
I like that. Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk. We all parents up here. Let's talk about our kids. Not in a
Do we have to?
I know. I love mine though. But so we know that you got a 13-year-old. So what has that been like? Like, let's pivot into I got a teenager as well. So what has your experience as a mother been? Is it a clash, the common cliche of
she is me. And we clash, right?
I knew it was coming.
Mom daughters.
You know the dads, we kind of be like happy about that. I'ma just let it be known. Like we're not like we be happy. We be like, yeah, she was giving me.
She's getting it back, right? Yeah. So she is me. My attitude, my personality, my face. She is me like, all day long. So sometimes I have to catch her like, girl. But she is a go-getter, and I love that.
So she's you, essentially.
She's me, right?
That's dope.
At 13, she's on her second business, so she is killing it, and she won't let me help her with her business. She's like, I know you're a coach, and I know what you do, but
Coach,
I got it. Right?
Okay, mom.
Yeah. Okay, mother.
Okay. Yeah, I got it, right?
Right.
And so I'm letting her just figure the strategies out on her own, but I just love that about her. She takes the information from social media or from watching me, and she's developing her own little personality. Yeah. But being a mom is one of the most rewarding jobs, and just seeing her growth, I just love it.
So what you think some of the most, what makes it most challenging? Like what's the part of some days where you like, I'm ready?
Yeah. I think So, of course, I think when we have kids, we all want to give them that family, right? So,
No,
we're
that's
on a
a fact.
two-parent household. Me and her father, we're at the point now where co-parenting is very, very we get it,
Oh,
right?
it's
So
seamless. It became
yeah,
seamless. Yeah.
yeah, we get it. And now he's just kind of like, girl, I don't want to hear your mouth. So I'm
Yeah.
just gonna
I'm
do what you
doing
need me to
it.
do.
Yeah.
But it was a challenge
Mm.
at first, but I think we got to a point where it's like this is what we need to do
Yeah.
to make this work for our kid. But in not being able to give her that sometimes is a challenge. So I still try to incorporate her father in a lot of things. Like we do Christmas breakfast and he
Yeah.
comes over and that's like not
Interesting.
normal for a
Yeah.
lot of people.
Yeah.
Like you let your child's father come. I'm like, yeah, him and all of his kids
Yeah.
and his spouse,
Yeah.
right? Come over, let's do this, let's make this happen
Yeah.
for the kids. But I think that's the biggest challenge for me is just not giving her that. I didn't grow up with
Yeah.
that, and I always wanted that.
Yeah.
But my parents were best friends. So I think for me, that's probably one of the biggest challenges.
Okay, interesting.
No, I think to your point though, it is like I've heard more times than not considering social media has shrunk the world with the perspective of sometimes the dad come over the night before and come open gifts and and I like it is foreign because like it was either dad was there or dad wasn't, you know what I mean? And I was like me having kids, I had kids relatively young, like my oldest is 15, but it's like I was 16 when I had her. So it was like I didn't come from it wasn't a situation that was ideal. It wasn't like, oh yeah, let's lay down and have a kid. It was just more so like being a horny teen and now I ended up with a teen. You know what I mean? So I had to kind of learn on the fly I had to learn how to become from a young boy to a man to growing into developing and being a father. But I always did want I felt like it made me fast track my growth because I wanted to hurry up and get to that. I want to provide. Even when I was like dating or getting in relationships, I was like making sure like, all right, at some point, like they got to meet my kids. So I got to make sure that they're a good fit. I'm trying to create this family dynamic. I want that. But now I kind of had to realize and look at it. I'm like, yo, you know what? At some point, the kids I have in the future will have that, and I know what my intentions are. But if I'm not able to get it in this time frame, I'm not going like, cause sometimes you'll get on yourself like, damn, like, well, not you, you in a situation where you engaged and you had a love child, so
and I'm fully unpacked.
Yeah,
and aligned.
He never been to therapy, never not once, but he's unpacked.
I've been to therapy. Don't need to. One of the few people in the world I don't need to.
Yeah. True story. So you can see what we're dealing with here. But ultimately, all in all, though, like. In that situation, like that's something that I had to, because even just coming out of a situation where it was like we had that blended family of like we was pushing towards like this is about to be the thing. We go like this should be marriage, whatever, and getting the look and the beat on what it's a good thing having that family dynamic. But towards the end, when I started to feel guilty, when I knew it was like about to pivot, and I'm like I gotta talk to the kids because like I'm thinking they're gonna be heartbroken and like. They were just my daughter was just like I mean dad like whatever makes you happy like I'm just like it's just like I'm thinking it's gonna be like I'm so like why are you breaking up the family she like no like whatever makes you happy do what you gotta do and I'm just like yo
you still here
we I mean like I basically said we stressing about giving them something that they do need it
right
but they don't even know they need it because it ain't there. So if it was there and they lost it, I feel like that's like more detrimental than if they never had it to begin with and we trying to introduce something foreign to them.
Yeah, the people, I think that's very interesting where I was going to take it. Where I often hear a lot of adults say that where it's like either you had that foundation when you grew up, so you definitely want as you get older. And if you don't have it, it's like it could be, frustrating. And if you don't have it, I want to create it because I didn't have it. And as a person who didn't have it either, like I don't have no memory of my parents being together. However, my entire life, they were always cool, always cordial, always had a good co-parenting situation without the courts being involved. So I actually grew up just understanding, realizing that, of course, ideally, you want to have the love child situation, everything can be happy. But if it doesn't end up that way, it's okay. Because I've seen it be okay and not have to be tumultuous. And the child, in my case, for the most part, can get everything they need. It's always fun and interesting people, depending on how they had it, can dictate what you may want. Yeah. And like you said, I didn't have it, so it wasn't like
a lack.
Yeah, it was kind of whatever. But like I said, if they grew up, let's say they was together till I was like 7 or 9 or 10, like you say, that could be worse. Cause like, damn, it was like this my whole life. Now it ends.
Yeah. But you know what's funny though? Cause like going back to what I spoke about exposure, we don't really notice we lack something until we exposed to it. So it's like even like growing up, right? Like I felt like I had a pretty good childhood. My mom did everything she could. Like I didn't like feel like we was lacking anything. Especially in the neighborhood, we had the pool table in the basement and the air hockey. We had a court in the back. Like it was a Fisher Price court, but still we did what we could. Hey. But we wasn't like it. And from all of my friends, it looked like we had it together. Then when I started like hanging with like the kids in the upper area, and I'm seeing the type of stuff they get, I'm coming home like, oh,
they got the real court.
Yeah, like they got a pool in the ground. Like they had to blow this up. So it's like so I say that to say, as a kid, we don't even be knowing that there's more to have until you see it and you be like, wait, mom, dad, why I don't got that or why we don't have that. But I think it's just imperative to be real but honest with the kids. So let me ask you that though, like,
real quick, we project a lot on our kids too. Like I feel that's a lot of projection we do.
Yeah, we do. Because you said it because of what we didn't have. So you're like, oh, I want to make sure you don't. But I wanted to ask you, so what having a situation where y'all do the whole link up, the family link up for the Christmas thing? What all right, so dang, I lost my question. It was 2 parts. I'll come back to it. But ultimately, do you plan on continuing that if you like get married, or do you feel like y'all would just like cut that dynamic?
I think it's important that whoever I decide to marry understands that that's my dynamic.
Yeah.
And that's just something that I've kind of built for my daughter, and that's something I want to continue.
Yeah.
My daughter's father is engaged now, and it's like, girl, come on.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing, right? We're not besties, right? But we're gonna make this happen.
Make it happen.
For these kids.
I respect it.
So I think it's just important to continue that.
Yeah, because it's like one of the things, like you said, it's something you built, and it's like everybody's putting themselves on the back end for the betterment of the situation for your daughter, and that's what ultimately everybody's goal should be, to make sure she has everything that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Would you let it continue, sir?
Would I let it continue?
Would you let it continue, sir?
Yeah, like if it, listen, you gotta understand, walking into a situation that has structure, if it's respecting boundaries, for sure. Okay. If I'm walking into a situation where her daughter's father is like controlling the entire situation, and I gotta get in line.
These pajamas are wearing today.
Yeah, like absolutely not. I'm a man first, so it's like it just got to be a mutual respect. Like as a man here, so we just going to double up on what's being done. It's like now he got assistants. You're not the only man in here, but if you making me feel like I'm just a +1, it's like we're going to have to redirect this. Like he can't come to this. Like, no. But all in all though, it was a question I was gonna ask to that thing, because I know that people have been talking about that. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So like, what about the dynamic when people think like, oh, I'm not about to paint no happy picture, my kid's gonna know exactly what it is. Like, what's your perspective on that?
I'm very transparent with my daughter.
Yeah.
And I like to have that open relationship where we can communicate.
Yeah.
I think that's important, especially in a society where she has access to so much on social media.
Yeah.
So I just try to be open and honest. I don't try to paint a fairy tale picture.
Yeah.
There's been times when, dad might not could have made it on time.
Yeah.
Or, we can't do it on Christmas Eve. We got to do it on Christmas Day. Or we might have to do it the weekend after.
That's respect.
But it's just important to just have those conversations. I think shielding kids from just certain things kind of hurts them more.
100%.
Especially when they find out the truth.
100%.
So just having that, and she's 13, and we know now that 13-year-olds are a little bit more advanced than we were at 13.
13 for sure.
So they see and know what's going on.
She got 2 businesses.
Yeah.
She's a CEO.
She's pretty advanced, I would say. Yeah.
Like she might be running she organizing this whole little deal. Look, mom, you gonna be there at 7, dad, 7:15, no later. Make sure you bring this.
That's kind of how
she got overdraft fees. If y'all don't get there, it's another toy under the tree. It's like
that's how it is.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
In regards to kind of merge these worlds of conversation, relationships and finance, how are you with financing with a partner? Like, are you the type of person that wants to be controlling everything, whether it's accounts or you type, no, we need to have some boundaries because I have different type of rhythms or practices with money. How are you with that? And have you had struggles in the past in regards to that?
My view is a little different, just from working at the bank, and seeing so many different things. I've had, women come in and they have absolutely no idea about the finances, and they're getting a divorce and they're clueless. I've had men come in the same situation and they don't know what's in the account or what to balance. So my view is a little different. I think that each person should have a separate account, and then we should have a household account where we just kind of make things happen. Now, don't hide anything. Right?
There we go. That's the part I was waiting for.
I still need to be able to peek over there in that separate account and see what's going on if I need to. But I have a spouse, and I probably have access to all of his stuff. But he probably doesn't have access to half of mine. Not because I'm hiding anything, but
that's girl math.
I handle most of his business, right? So he's an entrepreneur, and I have to handle.
don't he handle you though? So he can't like.
If he wanted to see, if he asked, I would probably be like,
probably.
Here's two of the 4. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Girl math.
He's gonna see this and be like,
3 in a possible.
How many you holding over there? 3 in a pop. Girl math for sure.
No, but I just think it's not anything
it's
that
naturally
I do.
that way.
No, I get it. You're not manufacturing. Like it's women out here. Like my mom would teach, have a security account to help. But
drop to other bank cross town.
Like, don't even let nobody know about this rainy day money. But you saying like, nah, like he knows they exist, but he just don't know what's going on.
Exactly.
Nah, that make perfect sense.
And you know about his because that's the way y'all dynamic.
Yeah.
If you like, I'll be thinking like, because I'm a proponent for like roles and responsibilities. I'm not really like against that. Like people, but what the roles are just based on strengths. It's like if you're the better one with the finances and I know how to make some money, handle the finance. Like it ain't like, I'm the man. I gotta handle the finance. You sit over there and do nothing. It's like, no, like what you good at, that's what you do. Bet, because I suck at that. Go, you handle that. Make sure we don't never run, and I'll keep making sure we get it in. You know what I mean? Like, but I feel like people. I don't know, man. People, you gotta have a strong sense of self to be able to assess and understand that without taking that personal. Because another man might like, what you mean? You got 4 extra accounts and I only know about 2. No, I want to see them as well. But it's like, no, you know what? I don't even care because I look at it like your money is your money anyway. Like that's your money. Like go ahead, do your thing.
Yeah, I give my girl credit because early on, she was actually when we first got together, she probably was like I would say further along the path of like adulting and really understanding like, no, this is what we need to do and credit and shit like that, whatever. And then I kind of took it and ran with it in my own direction. But like, she's just a woman, so she's nosy. So she knows everything about me. She knows all my social, everything. So she wanted to fuck my life over. It's very easy for her. But like, she knows all.
When did I apply for a house?
Absolutely.
In the hood.
So like, she knows all my information, all my PIN codes.
Absolutely.
I don't know shit about her. She's a fucking stranger.
Yeah,
at all.
Huh?
No, he doesn't.
Well, I mean, I can see how not because like we ain't scheduling no appointments for y'all doing that. So I don't. Yeah, I didn't know my ex-social. Yeah.
I'll say it like this. She probably know it by heart, but she has used it and seen it to do certain things with it. Because back when I was, getting a credit card and shit like that, whatever, she did applications like that. So like, she definitely had used. I've never even seen her social. I have no idea.
So you think is it more because like as men we just not that invested in that not that nosy to Q's point, or is it one of the things where it's like you ain't reached the level of comfort where you're like, all right, now I'll let you see my social. Because if you get married, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't know the marriage license. Don't you probably got to put your social down there or something?
That's the last thing I'm even
put that after he gives me the ring, then I'll be like, okay, my social security card is.
I give you the last 4.
Yeah.
last 4. Like,
3, 2, 4, 7.
Okay, last 4. No, I'm joking. If there was a need where he.
You'll make sure. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Because I feel like it's so funny, man. Like, our personal information, I don't know. Our parents grew up with their personal information like that. Social, you treat that like the Da Vinci Code. You don't get that to nobody. But our new generation, we be throwing. I get my social around. It's just like we do not value
these
the numbers
apps and all that.
We just putting it in anything. Use your last 4 to apply for this. Okay.
And then read no terms and conditions at all.
Immediately hit check.
Agree.
They could got me a house in the hood. I didn't even know what I signed off.
Guys will give the social out with no problem. Women, we guard it a little bit. Yeah. Guys, they're just like, you can give me $100,000. Okay.
Do you have your social card personally?
It's in my wallet.
Okay, Matt. How about you? Do you keep yours on you?
Yeah, it's in a safe box. Okay. Not on me, but yeah.
I mean,
my mom still has mine. I don't care. My mom still has mine.
What?
She does.
So, at what point do you take it from mom and give it to fiance or wife? Do you wait till your wife?
That's a good question.
I mean, to be honest. Probably never. Like something happens to my mom.
We know how these conversations go. Mom, let me tell you what she did.
No, like certain shit like that. I don't really mess with like found it because to be honest, this is the reason why. Those type of things again. Like she's like I'm saying, she probably don't know my number, but she's more prone to ask for something like that, whatever. But she's not good with keeping things and being organized. So you don't need to have that level of
responsibility.
Yeah, like cause
your social just on the block.
Exactly. Where me, if I like, let's say something happened, whatever, I'm gonna keep my documents down. I'm gonna be one to have the documents there. Ain't gonna be like, yeah, babe. This is your role now. No, it ain't. I'm inherit this now. I got my daughters and mine. So that's how it goes.
No, I can respect that. It's just about knowing your personnel. You got to know who you're dealing with. You got to. For sure. And I'm always going to be an advocate for it because I feel like social media try to stigmatize the systems and roles and things that work in other dynamics, but they don't apply to relationships. It's like, a relationship is transparent across the board. Like, just being a good person, like, that's like the foundation. It's like, you're a good, because like another thing is a misconception. Just because you're a good person don't mean you're a good parent. And just because you're a good parent don't mean you're a good spouse.
Absolutely.
And I feel like people fail at understanding that bridge that it's like, nah, like, starts with being a good person, having good intentions, just having a, good energy and everything like that, and knowing that you're not going to do nobody wrong. That's the foundation. But when you get beyond that point, when you get into a relationship, you got to say, what would make me a better partner? Like, let me assess the person I'm dealing with and see the things that I can do within self that can help us become better. And I feel like people think because they're just a good person, like they feel like other people might say, oh, you're such a sweetheart, or yo, you're a good dude. They think like, that translates. It's like, no, it's work that has to be put in intentionally to make this better. Like, okay, let me be intentional about date night or quality time or, just checking in, or let me, on the female side, let me be intentional about asking him about what he's going through, or making sure that I'm taking time to make sure I nurture him in a way that I would nurture, something that I love, right? Like, I'm gonna take care of my flowers, but I can't water my man. It's like, no, like, make sure you take care of him, he take care of you, and be intentional about being a good partner, because that's what I did. Like, I was always like, oh yeah, I'm a good person, but I had to learn. I'm like, yo, you know what? When I was in my very first relationship, how attentive was I? Like, was I paying attention? Was I focusing on this? What was I putting my energy and time into? Then ever since from there, I'm like, all right, let me make sure that I work on getting better here. Same thing with being a dad.
All across the board.
It's like, yeah, I got kids. It's like, I spend time with them, but how much of it is attentive time? Where it's like, we got memories that we're making, not just, oh, I got my kids with me today. You follow what I'm saying? So I started to be intentional. Like, when I'm with y'all, I'm with y'all. Now, what I will say is when they were just living with me half the time, because I was doing week on, week off, when I was just in my last relationship, I felt like it did make it more easier to be less attentive. And I feel like that could happen in relationships and marriages. Once you start getting real close, you forget to do the things that's like, you forget, like, yo, I still got to entertain this. I still got to make sure that this, you know what I mean? So don't fall into that trap. When you get closer to somebody, you feel like, oh, I don't got to do what I was doing. Like, no, like, be intentional. Like, be intentional, because that'll keep situations good in parenting and relationships and in life.
Our last episode, we teased the topic that we'll bring it back now. The idea of, and so you think about it, the idea of men may cheat first, but women cheat last. So let's see if we can unpack some girl math from your perspective.
She said, y'all told me we was going to be talking about grants and business funding.
We got her. we got her.
20 minutes in.
We got her.
I think I agree with that.
Wolf logic. He ain't prefaced that.
I really do. I really think that we agree. I agree with that. I think, and the conversation is all over social media. I think men cheat, and it's just a different, it could be something quick. It could be, hey, I was just bored. And then women, we just kind of, sometimes we take it all in, and then we just kind of like, okay, I had enough. Let me go entertain this guy that's been DMing me for 6 months.
And that's 6 years. This is long term. Let me add to it real quick, because I think to break down the philosophy on it, it's like, isn't so many different dynamics when I say, like, men cheat first, women cheat last, because it's also like in a situation where it's like, damn, and I keep doing this because we've been, but I keep losing it. But
bring it back.
No, for real. When I say, damn, Q, go ahead, man. Say what you
back. All right, so
save me.
I got you. Yes, I'm re-binging a show right now. Secure my manhood. So I'm gonna say what it is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Grey's Anatomy.
I ain't mad. I never watched it, but I ain't mad.
I'm re-binging it. So to the point about a man may do something or whatever, but
that's what I was gonna say. But
gotcha.
No,
so when women do it, can just be like, really? That you taking it to that degree, that level, whatever. So the guy on the show, he actually didn't cheat, but he was not being attentive to his wife, and it was kind of deteriorating, whatever. So she decides not just cheat, but to go fuck his best friend.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be overkill.
Yeah, like it's like, how do we get here? Like it's like how
you couldn't go to the trainer. You want to fuck my life up.
And then she tried to make it make sense. Like, well, I was crying out for her. You wasn't being attentive. You was cold. And the marriage ended before I did that. The marriage been, and it's like,
nah.
How are you trying to make this make sense in girl math lane? It's like, could you fuck anybody else in the world?
Yeah.
Outside of my best friend in my house, because now everybody got to die.
House
like,
free.
Everybody got to die.
No, so this is what I was gonna say when I say men cheat first. So it's like a lot of the time, most of the time, men cheat in the beginning stages. Like, right, like he get with a woman and it's like a lot of adjustments that need to be made. He not ready to fully commit to her. He like, I'm still toiling over here and doing this and doing that, and like it lasts. And then like maybe he get caught up, maybe he don't. Right, but I'm not gonna base a woman cheating off if a man get caught up. When I say women cheat last, it's more so like men over time start to settle down. Like, you know what? We've been together 7 years, 8 years, 10. I'm ready to chill, sit back. And now the woman want to have adventure, want to have fun. And it's like, he trying to like settle in. And she's seeking something new. And her curiosity start to spark. So when I say they cheat lads, it's like a man to do all his dirt up front. But it's like, she more likely to cheat 20 years down the road, where he might likely like, I ain't got time to be out here doing that. And she like,
men wait until it's too late.
To settle down?
To settle down.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, we're already invested. We're already locked in, and you're out playing. Yeah. And then now we're 2-3 years down the line, and now you're ready, and we've already kind of checked out.
But the crazy thing is, that's because it's like an instant gratification thing. It's like women want the reward now. And it's like, for men, we got to go through different seasons to be able to say, okay, some of it might be like, you don't never got to like where somebody is in their development, but you got to learn to understand. It's like, if I meet a woman that's like corporate or she an entrepreneur, she's super busy. I understand, like, in this development, she ain't really got the time to really like pour into me how I might require my wife to. So I'm not gonna marry her yet because I know that I'm not the focal point. You follow what I'm saying? So it might take time to be like, all right, when we settle in these areas, because like a lot of the hold off don't be wasting a woman's time, but I feel like it get perceived that way, like, because they'll say, oh, man, know if he want to marry you. That's true. But a man don't know when he want to marry you. So they're like, oh, yeah, she's wifey material. I would marry her. But I ain't really ready for that yet. Maybe he got to get his finances together, his credit, get him some grants, get himself out of the red, different things like that to be able to, because we want to be able to shoulder the load, because becoming a husband is not just a title, it's a responsibility. And social media only think about the wedding. Like, oh, get down to the proposal and the wedding and all the little different antics that come with it. But they forget the everyday roles and responsibilities that's now become upon you once you become a husband. It's like, I got to be able to take care of this family. I got to be able to provide. But when it comes to playing around, like in the beginning, like doing extra stuff, that could just be where a man at his development. I tell women, you ain't got to wait for a man to develop. You don't have to. You could be like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and find me one that's already closer to where I'm trying to get, because that's where I'm at. But at the same time, if you really love this dude and you like, dang, that 3 years might seem like he playing around, but he really shaving off parts of him so he can give himself fully to you. And sometimes he got to, I ain't going to lie, this going to sound crazy. You might want him to get the fucking out and get the this, get all of that out. So when he yours, because you don't want it to be where he like, all right, I'm going to do it today because she ready. And the next thing you know, he got a whole other life going on because he never got it out of his system, So I do agree.
True. I agree.
Yeah, I'll add this to the conversation. So me and my girl, we've been together
20 years.
Yeah, 27. No. But no, so we've been together for going on 10 years. And we've been by next April when we get married, it'll be a 2-year engagement. That was the plan from the beginning, whatever. So of course, naturally, oftentimes I would say, especially for the last 5 years, to the point people would say like, well, what's taking so long? Why you get married? Why you get married? And I always knew early on that one, nobody's gonna make me do anything I don't want to do, or before I'm ready to do it. Yeah. I never want to be like, I'm gonna propose because it's better time wise, or because a girlfriend may ask, or I may ask, or whoever. Even people on my side may ask. It's like, no, I wasn't ready at 25. I wasn't secure in myself as a man, or a provider, or as a leader, or my direction and things, whatever, by 25, 27. Then I would say we didn't have our daughter, maybe it could happen then, whatever. Then now we got readjusted the whole daughter-parent dynamic, and that changed in the pandemic. So I feel like, to be honest, I kind of got some bail. Like the last 4 years with the pandemic and the daughter, that kind of like
simulation.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck am I
doing? Have it in the house? Like, you can't even go outside.
Right. But up until 2020, that would have been at that point like 5-6 years. I was just getting myself together, getting us together as a person who consider myself a leader. I want to make sure like I'm leading us somewhere. Yeah. Like, so if I just say, yo, it's been about 3-4 years, let's just do it because we supposed to do it, I guess, because two people asked.
TikTok said.
Yeah, then it's like, all right, now we're married. Now what? It's like, the fuck, like.
But now we got to figure it out. And you know what the woman going to say, yo, you should have had that figured out before you asked me to marry you. Like, I was trying to get it together.
Yeah, so I wasn't necessarily fucking around and doing anything, but it definitely, I understood from her perspective, and just societal or, general discussions like, damn, no, irritating, but no, like, when I proposed, I knew at that time, it's time. I'm ready. There's no doubt about it, and I'm at the right space, right headspace, and right man to do it right now.
So let me pivot this to you real quick. So being an entrepreneur, right, you got to make tough decisions, right? So like, do you make tough decisions? And I'm not talking about the ones that had to be made in a split, like, because that happens, right, on the fly. But I'm talking about like the ones that can be thought out. Is it a process for you to get to that decision, or do you just be like, you know what, I'm making this decision expeditiously?
I try to think it out. I have been known to make fast and quick, impulsive
We're gonna use the word,
right?
Impulsive. Kind of hastily,
yes, and sometimes that's not always the best thing. So I try to think it out, take my time. I try to sleep on it, and wake up the next day and like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. And this is what's going to happen. But yeah, that's
so to your point, that's kind of like the men process of like, all right, like when we get to marriage, like we got to think it out. Some men got to sleep a little bit more around to be like, you know what? All right, you know what?
she's the one.
She's the one. But it's like, it's not, cause when we commit, we commit. So it's like, if I'm gonna lock in with you, I'm locked in with you. It's not no, you know how like women get to the altar and be like, you sure you want to do this? Like, I'm here. I just paid 50, 60. You see all of this shit going on? Like, what do you mean do I want to do this? Like, but we don't, like, I'm not talking about the men who, was coerced into just jumping out there or pressured by peers and stuff. I'm talking about like when a man really taking his time, he has real serious intentions. But this is how, for the ladies that's watching and listening, this is how you can kind of understand if you're going in that direction. So like, if a man starts to plan you, and I'm not talking about the game that man will run in the first week, like, yeah, I see you in my future. No, I'm talking about like y'all going through different seasons together and he's still incorporating you in that plan and you're seeing progress to what, like y'all dated for X amount of time. And next thing you know, you say, yo, you should move in with me. That's a step above, right? So it's like, all right, now I got to see how we live together. Oh, you know what? We live together. We do a good job at that. Let's like, if we're not already in a relationship, let's make this a relationship. Like, all right, let's say the relationship first, then move in together, right? For the sake of the conversation. All right, now we're in a relationship, we live together. Oh, we do pretty good. Hey, she know how to do, she not do that. I could see her being my wife. Now it comes down to, do I want to have a kid first or do I want to wait till after the marriage? Right. But you can see the development. It's like the first time you enroll into grade school, you don't just get a diploma. You got to go from first grade to 12th. You got to take tests. You got to go through all of these different things. But women, like, men wanted you to go through hell and hot water to get married. Yes, because at the end of it, we got to say, you know what? This is the person because I know what type of situations we found ourselves in and I seen how she handled herself.
Exactly.
And as a man, because we can't make a rational decision, we don't get the grace to make irrational decisions and decisions that we automatically get looked at as bad leaders. And rightfully so, because we have the ability to foresee beyond how we feel, we should get looked at as a bad leader if we make that type of decision. So it's like a man got to be able to educate himself through, you know what, Dad, she seen me when I ain't had nothing. You know what, she forgave me with this. Oh, and I'm not talking about cheating. I'm talking about, it could be whatever. She had patience with me. She told me this. She helped me in this area. She's invaluable. It's nothing. I can't live without her. This my person. You know what I mean? And I feel like we need that amount of time. The same way when you about to invest in something, you like, I ain't about to just get this money away. Like, I'm about to hold on to this and I'm about to make sure that this, how much was the ROI? What's the turnaround? What's these numbers? What's that? All right, cool. That's a smart investment. That's how we look at it.
Absolutely.
I like it.
Yeah,
okay.
so
I think I agree.
Yeah, so I always like to put that in perspective because I feel like, that's what be messing us up. Like, it be messing when I say us, not like me, I'm saying like in general, it'd be like, women have a way that they interpret things. Men have a way that they deliver things, and it's not always to the match of how women see it. So it's like a man might be like, I'm just not ready for a relationship. And it's like, that's not enough context to make her understand what not ready means. Like, is you saying she ain't enough? Is you saying this? But really, you just saying, I got to do things within me that have nothing to, it's not you, it's me conversation. It's not you, it's me. And when I get there, you're the one I want to be there with. Just,
communicate that.
Got to communicate it,
communicate
You got to.
yeah.
So let's talk, though. Let's talk about the whole financial literacy wave, right? And do you feel like, we just talking about cliches, do you feel like the cliche that it's become, it's affecting people's ability to want the information now?
Yes.
So let's talk about it.
Yeah, so it's like, who do I go to?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
There's
for
so
sure.
many experts. There's so many people who know the game and who overpromise and overdeliver, and very few actually show up.
Yeah.
So it makes it challenging for people like me, right, who are very genuine and passionate about teaching the information and educating our community. And then there's so many people who are just saying, go get $100,000 in funding.
And don't tell you what to do
and
with
don't
it.
tell you what to do with it.
Fact.
Or let me sweep your credit and then go
I heard that a lot.
let me
Get the credit, then do it here. Then you're going to bring it back, double it.
So you're telling me I have a 400 credit score, I don't have the mindset or knowledge, and now you're going to give me $100,000 in funding, and I have absolutely no idea what to do. So I hate it.
That's setting people up for failure.
I hate that for us.
And do you think that it stigmatized the industry to make people feel like, let's just put the word on the table, like, oh, they scamming and they...
I hate the S word.
Yeah, I don't want to say it, but I know it's cursing in the financial industry.
Because there's so many people who use it, they just throw it out there. Right?
You ain't sent my course in 20 minutes. I knew I shouldn't have trusted you.
Right. You send me a DM on social media and an automation responds, and now you're like, oh, you're a scammer.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is how I communicate with all 200,000 of you.
You think I got time to really respond to you? Like,
But I hate the S word, and I just think we just randomly throw it out there. There are some very genuine people out there who are teaching the strategy. I think entrepreneurs should leverage grants and business funding.
Talk about it, you're not against it.
Yeah, I'm not knocking business funding because it is a great way to leverage your business.
Yeah.
But I just think the people who are teaching this information need to have something of what's next.
No,
right?
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like a roadmap. Like I feel like that's what's so funny because like that be the thing is like that's where people feel misled when they get to the end of the road. It's like, all right, cool. You got my credit swept. You put some primaries and some trade lines. You beefed it up. I got the money, and now I spent the money. And it's like now I owe $100,000. Like you ain't answering the phone. What do I do? But it's like we in any coaching space, right? Because like we are certified relationship coaches.
Yes,
I'm really certified, but Q is certified by affiliation.
Every state but set too.
Yeah, Boston and
Alaska, Massachusetts.
Yeah,
every state outside. Thank you. Appreciate
it. He's certified through affiliation. But regardless, like we all in that consultant space. He has a consulting agency. I have a marketing agency. We have a responsibility to people that come to us misinformed or ignorant to not halfway inform them and not mislead them. No different than parenting. It's like somebody is coming to us with their most vulnerable state, looking for help with their finances, and we got the tools to get them here. But a lot of people in the space just like, all right, I got you here, like figure it out. But like you said, when you got a 400 credit score, that says something about your mindset. It says you're responsible. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or maybe mama did you dirty, put the cable in your name, and you just found out when you got older. It's like, but it says something that we have to pay attention to. Like, and that's why offering consistent coaching, putting them in the communities, keeping them in these accountability groups. Go read The Art of Accountability. That's my second book. Putting them in these accountability groups keeps them in a space where they don't feel that fall off. When they fuck up, it's like, all right, somebody's there to help me, because essentially, financially, we all are children unless you became an adult and started to get responsible. But most people in our community are still childlike when it comes to handling their finances. So with us being adults, you per se are definitely in that industry. You one of the adults. It's like look, it's like you checking the parents. Like, look, don't just give them that money and don't tell them what to do with it. Let them know the good, the bad, and the ugly, and let them know that you got them. Or if you don't, then point them in the direction of somebody that can help them, so that it won't be so stigmatized. So we can create wealth. So people won't be like, I ain't giving you. Oh, let's talk about that when people feel like they shouldn't have to pay for the information. They're like, Coach K, you should just give it to me. You a black woman. You supposed to be empowering. You talk all this, like, I shouldn't have to pay you.
Real quick, what's your answer? I want to add this to the conversation as well. I do feel like, I think a lot of people have these jaded views, though, is because, one, of course, we just know our people. We behind the 8 ball already. We in the negative. So 100%. We don't got that much to risk or spend to try to. So if it ain't the return.
This 2K mean a little different to me. Like, this is my last 2.
Yeah, and so that's all right. A lot of them don't have the right financial literacy in the first place. We don't know about these type of things. So this whole community is just jaded in the first place. Yeah. At the same time, I feel like a lot of these people that are like in this space of financial leaders or consultants or whatever, a lot of them really are, not a lot, many of them are just salesmen. And I feel like it is something to be said about people that come from a banking background. You are a business expert that went into grant expertise and consulting, so you already kind of got that backing.
Yeah.
Or, whoever it may be. I remember our guest Cassandra, she was a sociologist that went into coaching, whatever. So that's your professional background.
That's what you love.
Yeah, so I feel like when you have those type of backgrounds in general, unless you're just a thorough person with integrity, you're gonna have more genuine energy and intention behind it. I'm not trying to get this money from you, then run away from you. Like, I got the deposit, cool. Fuck off. I don't give a fuck. But like when you're a salesman, you got that retail type mentality. You don't give a fuck. When a person sell you a card, they don't get that shit break down, whatever. And I feel like people, that's also in that space as well. So it's a mixture. It's not as many people. I don't say that. You got people that's like you guys, and other people are like, no, like, well, I'm professional. I got good integrity. I'm not trying to get this bread from you. Like, I'm gonna sell. I'm a business person, but also I'm intentional about my background, my expertise, and shit like that. Other people's like, man, I don't give a fuck if you ever get from this 400 credit score, bro. Give me my bread.
Give me just buy this ebook.
Everybody around me, building a book of business is more than a quick dollar. So if you can take your customers and you show them the strategy, and now they're locked in. Okay, we're gonna clean your credit the right way.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna help you get funding. Now we're gonna educate you about what to do with this funding. Now we're gonna help you scale your business. Now you have 4, 5, 6 different opportunities to build with this client, but also get another dollar.
No,
right?
that's a fact.
So we
still
can
get the money. I'm leaving here with something.
Right, they're locked in.
Yeah.
I have people who are literally like, Coach K, whatever you do, I'm investing into it.
Yeah.
So when we figure out that building a book of business is going to be more than just let me get your
Let me
$2,
get
$3,
that
$4, $5,000 real quick, or 10% of whatever I got you in funding, and now we can do this over and over and over again. It just makes more sense. So,
no, that's a fact. Even just understanding, like, it's really like because, and I still want you to answer that question about people not wanting to pay.
Right.
But even just to piggyback and add to what y'all were just saying, one thing I learned, people, they don't, it's like they trying to, like, all right, excuse my language when I say that, but it's like you trying to fuck a girl fast. Like, soon as you meet, you trying to just get the money, give me the 5,000. You not whining and dining, you not courting, you not working up, you're not building a relationship. You just trying to get it. You just trying to get the goods. And I feel like that's when you can see that someone is lacking integrity, because it's like they not even trying to build on the conversation. She said it's 5, 6 different ways we can take this. I can get you in at $27, and then at some point you spending $10K because I didn't walk you up the steps to be able to afford to do that, and then not cook your bank account versus me just like, pay me for this, and it's gonna be X, Y, and Z, and it's I'm not fulfilling on the promises because I skipped all the steps in the middle. So I just feel like, us being leaders in our space, like people come to my podcast or to my platform and they look for us to be who we say we are. And it's like, it's imperative that we model the behavior that we want to exemplify for them, because we want to lead from example. But going back to the people that don't want to pay, because I know that's a thing. Like,
it's a huge
I
thing.
I want the information. I want it now. What you mean $297? Oh yeah, no, I don't want to do that.
I could just find it on
probably
YouTube, right?
I could have went on Google.
I could have went on YouTube.
They favorite thing is y'all selling information we could have found on Google, but you didn't find it on Google. So you paid me for my time. I found it.
Right, and that's the biggest thing. One, you're paying me. I have over 15 years in finance experience. I've been doing grants for about 10 years. So you're able
she
to
on some OG shit.
Yeah, OG, right?
Yeah.
So you're taking the information that I've invested in, right? I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars to learn this information and had mentors. And I'm giving it to you for a fraction of the price. So you're able to pick my brain.
And the time.
And time, right?
That's a fact. You're cutting the corner.
You're cutting the corner.
Hey, when you want to skip the line at the club, you pay VIP. To cut the line, it costs money.
Right.
Six Flags Easy Pass.
When you walk past everybody while they hot and sweating, and you just like, well.
And I think that's the biggest thing. And then, any dollar that you are not willing to invest is too much for you to receive. So if you're not willing to spend $297 on a course to learn the information,
that's a fact.
A client shouldn't pay you $297 for your product or for your service. So I think that's huge as well. So you got to make that investment.
No, that's a fact. Because you're investing into yourself ultimately. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, if you don't see it like that, then like she said, you shouldn't be receiving. One of my mentors always says, she said, you can't charge what your heart can't cover. And it's like, that's just the fact of the matter. It's like, your heart can't, you don't even feel right saying $7,500 for something because you're not willing to pay $7,500. So it sounds like a lot of money. But if you just spend $7,500 like it's nothing, you're like, oh, that's it. All right, cool. Take that money. And then you get rich faster, essentially, because you train yourself to hear those high numbers and deal with it at that pace and that frequency, to where though you don't even feel guilty accepting it, because you know that you could deliver at that level. You're like, I know I'm worth what I'm asking you. So it's not even a question. Like, somebody walk into the Chanel store, they see the price, they're like, I just seen Target. It was a similar bag. It was $47. You know you walking into something that's $5K, and you see it at $4K. You're like, oh, that's a steal. And you know that only can come from you kind of training your mind to be able to deliver in that way, because you're willing to kick that money out. But I've learned that our people, because we strive off instant gratification, we don't see nothing wrong with spending $2,500 on a section and 3 bottles. Including me, even at a point in my life, to where but if you be like, yeah, $2,500, but I can get you $100,000 in grants within the next 6 months, somebody be like, damn, I don't 6 months.
6 months?
Hey, you can't do it next week. Like, my bottle's coming right out. Like, I realize it's like people just we want the results fast, and it's like, if you can literally position and train your mind to delay that, like, really, we hear it. It's a common conversation, but really be like, yo, you know what? Because this is what your people gotta understand. There's a difference between being complacent and being content, right? And it's like, you gotta be content. Content is good. Complacent is not. Content means, you know what? I'm happy with this couch right now, and I'm happy with this TV that we have. I'm happy with these microphones that we're using. That don't mean I'm complacent and don't want to get better equipment. It just means that I'm not sitting here dreading what we have to use. But people that can't get content because they think that is a problem, like, oh, no, I don't want to be content. They want everything right now. But when you get content, it's like, I used it as an example in a relationship. It's like, yeah, like, all right, when you get content in your relationship, just for the ladies, I feel like, because it's like, y'all creatures of evolution, y'all love evolving. It's like, sometimes, like, a man's process is different. So the timing is different. So you might be like, all right, we together now, when's the trips? Like, when is this? When is that? And it's like, let's get there. We're going to get there. But, like, we got to build these situations first. And where the content come from is, like, you can buy a home. You can be content. Like, you know what? I like this home. It's a 4-bedroom home. It got a garage. It got this, got that. I'm content. That don't mean I'm going to leave it looking like this. I'm upgrading that bathroom. I'm upgrading the kitchen. I'm doing the things that I want to do over time, but I'm still content with the house that we bought. Right. But if you're not content, you just feel like no house is enough, nothing is enough. And then once you get something, you're like, oh, that's it? Or what's next? You overstimulate it to the point where there's nothing that can stimulate you. So, you know, that how that translates in every other area of your life, you got to understand. Find ways to be happy with what you have without saying this all I'm going to have. Like, I'm happy with life. I'm happy with what I have, but I know that I want more. You know, so that's something that's one of the messages I'll Leo with. Let's do this. This is a little different, but we got a guest. She is in a financial space. Let's give our guests a few tips to take with them, and then kind of let them know, like, if they need more, like, where they can come and get it. Like, I'm in a university. I'm a new enrolled student. It's like, but yeah, how they can join the university and everything.
Oh, love it. Okay, so every entrepreneur qualifies for grant funding. When we are applying for grant funding, you want to make sure you lead with your purpose and lead with your mission. A lot of times we make the mistake and we talk about, hey, I want to start this podcast and I just need new equipment.
But if you talk about,
yeah, right. But if you talk about the impact you're making with the podcast, or the impact you're making with your business, and the impact you're making with within your community, it opens up the door for more funding opportunities. So lead with your purpose. Make sure you know your mission. There are a lot of grant opportunities out there that are going to ask you questions about your business and about your brand. I always tell my community, use a simple method. Just be real when you're applying, or make sure you're relatable to the investor that's giving you access to the funding. Make sure you're educating them about your business and about your brand. Make sure you have an action plan on how you're going to receive the fund, or take action when you receive the funding. And make sure they love your business and love your brand, and they want to invest into your mission. So I have a community that you guys can come into and just learn all of the valuable information. I give you grants to apply for. I'll walk you through the process of applying for grants. It's the Business and Grant Community. You can find me on all social media platforms. It's Coach K, ITSS, Coach K. And that's...
Yeah, real quick, can we get like a promo code? Like if they come from here, it's like,
of course.
I'm still a businessman.
Yeah. I'm huge on affiliate links.
Yeah, that's
it. Or something.
So yeah, listen to that link. You know, we're gonna make sure we drop the information. Make sure y'all follow It's Coach K on IG, and that's with 2 S's. Make sure we say that, because when I did it with the 1 S, it wasn't her.
When she walked in the door, I'm like, this is not the person I thought it was.
She's not Asian. No, all jokes aside. So make sure you add the extra S. But yeah, man, y'all already know what our tagline is, man. As y'all let people know we grow, do not gatekeep this information. We need y'all to share this out to a couple people, because we want to see people get better. If you want to be around like-minded individuals, then create the like-minded individuals. How do you do that? You come to people like us to give you information like this, so y'all can both know what's going on in the world. It ain't always good to be the smartest person that you're around, so help your people get educated as well, so y'all can build and grow with each other. You know, y'all can remember behind us, this is a billboard. You can buy this TV and you can promote your business to our audience, and people like you who are watching it, you might know somebody that might need it to get their business in front of people. Now, of course, we only endorse businesses that have integrity and that we vet it, but the fact of the matter is, reach out. If y'all looking for advertisement, right here. Get a chance to get seen by millions and millions and millions of people all over social media. Reach out via email at wolfnetworkwsc@gmail.com for advertising. Follow our network page on IG, wolfnetwork.wsc. Make sure y'all follow the podcast on Apple and all listening and streaming platforms, The Wolf Has Spoken Podcast. Catch us on YouTube on the Wolf Network, The Wolf Has Spoken Podcast. And y'all know where to follow me at WolfWSC. What about my guy, Q?
Yeah, so a lot of woofs, he said. A lot of woof, and Doc Wolf said woof. Nigga said woof 18 times. But yeah, so you can follow me right on Q Live, right as in the right side on QUE Live, right on Q Live.
Yeah, follow my guy Q, and make sure, again, y'all follow our guest. It's ITSS.
Not
Coach
that
K.
Asian, the 2 S's.
Yeah, make sure y'all add the extra S. And yeah, y'all see her up there and everything she got going on. And as always, until next time, get 1% better every single day in every single way. And yeah, let's get it, man. The Wolf Has Spoken. We out.
Love it.